am out of my first trimester. That is it. I survived it, just barely, but I made it on my first trimester. I'm actually pretty well into my second at this point. And I am a stickler for organization, so I will be putting timestamps below just to be able to navigate this a little easier. I tried to organize my thoughts to the best of my ability and, you know, figuring out where to tell what. So I would recommend watching the whole thing through just to connect bits and pieces that might overlap, but the timestamps are there for you if you need them. So I only started telling people around 12 weeks, people that are outside of my family. And I have to say it was the most overwhelming thing that I had to do. I'm not sure why I was so nervous to tell people. Saying those words, I mean, this is such an amazing, positive piece of news, but the nerves that overcame me, I didn't expect it to be that heightened. But speaking it out loud, it made it just that more official, you know? It wasn't our little secret anymore. And it was really important for me to be able to share that piece of news with people that were kind of part of this fertility journey and really were there for me and were there to listen when I needed to vent and, you know, came to for advice, and just that we're a part of all of that. And it was very special that I got to actually tell them in person, and I got to tell them personally, and it's kind of that full circle moment, you know, that really makes it awesome. And I was talking to a friend about this, especially with pregnancy, you know, you kind of question, when do you get to fully enjoy this whole process, right? And I thought, you know, first it would be getting over the first trimester, right? Now I'm like, maybe once we do this test, or once that, or, you know, probably when the baby comes is when I'll calm down. But realistically, when the baby comes, you just have this whole new set of things that you can be afraid of because you have this little tiny human to take care of. So I'm just going to accept this as a big welcome to motherhood initiation, that I will never be fully calm again because there's just always going to be something. So because of that, I want to enjoy every single moment. All we have is today. All we have is right now. Okay, so let's go back where I left off. I left off at 6 weeks where I was feeling just fine and dandy, no morning sickness, no nothing. At week 6, I think the day that I filmed that video, that night or the next day is when nausea smacked me in the face. It hit me so hard and consistently. And at 7 weeks is when we went to New York for Thanksgiving. So I was really excited to be able to tell family in person. You know, I had that opportunity to be able to tell them in person. I was gonna take it. The flight there, just a quick note, was absolutely horrible. Worst turbulence I ever experienced. And that was the first time I threw up during this pregnancy because of that turbulence. I wasn't the only one, so that made me feel a little better. I don't really know what it was, pregnancy or the turbulence. It's like 15 minutes straight of pure chaos. Okay, so telling my mother, she has a medical office and they have an ultrasound machine. So I thought it would be fun to just have her, you know, let's do an ultrasound on my belly and let's just film it, and you're pointing at the screen, whatever, I just need to film something for YouTube, right? So I thought, how fun would that be, where she's, you know, they're looking for something and they're gonna find, you know, the embryo, the sac, whatever is supposed to be visible at 7 weeks. That did not go as planned.
Yeah. You guys are freaking me out now.
Why?
Because I'm pregnant?
No.
What?
Что? Are you serious?
I'm 7 weeks, why can't you see anything?
I've gotten abdominal ultrasounds before, and I've always known that you need a full bladder to be able to see anything. But I figured because there was a baby there that wasn't going to be the case. So my bladder was not full. They could not find anything. They didn't see anything. And I'm laying there just panicking, just straight panic, because I'm like, what do you mean you can't see anything there? Can you seriously not see anything there? Like, do you really need my bladder to be full to that point? So I just had to, you know, chug a bottle of water, and 30 minutes later we did it again, the ultrasound again, and they found what they needed to find. The baby was the size of a blueberry. We didn't really see much, but we saw the sac and we saw a little tiny blueberry sized circle, and it was magical. And
why is it so tiny?
I'm zooming out.
Where's the head? You should see a head.
Are you kidding me?
Ella.
7 weeks?
Ты уже хочешь
But
руки?
the sac is there.
Видишь, маленький бейби внутри.
On the bottom, right?
Да, видишь, такая бусинка маленькая.
the heartbeat is really what I was looking for, because I knew that you can hear the heartbeat at 6 weeks. So I was like, I need to hear the heartbeat. They couldn't find it at first, so they took out a Doppler, which was a little easier to hear the heartbeat, and my mind kind of calmed down. Like that's it, that I saw that I was pregnant. I saw something there. It was just more official than it had been. So New York was a great time. It was Thanksgiving, family time. However, I did not realize just how much toxins are in New York. You know, we live in Florida right now, and because of this fertility journey that we were on, you know, we have eliminated so many toxic products over that time frame, and we don't use candles or perfumes or anything scented anymore, really. You know, even laundry detergent. It was freezing in New York. It was just a lot of things that I wasn't used to. And on top of that, I was feeling the sickness from the pregnancy. So it was just a big accumulation of things. We got home, and I had read in one of the pregnancy books that if you're flying, you can do something called a detox bath, which is essentially like a salt bath with baking soda. I used the salt bath from Ancient Minerals, I believe, and it says to soak for 20 minutes. So did the pregnancy book with the baking soda. Baking soda I've never took a bath with, so I was cautious with that. But the salt bath, I was not ready to take a 20-minute bath. That was just, it's a detoxing thing, and I just wasn't really sure how I felt about the safety of that. So I took a 5-minute bath. 5 minutes, that is it. I woke up that morning feeling fine, took that bath, and then I felt like absolute shit the rest of the day. Horrible. It didn't feel like it was really related to pregnancy. I just felt my body detoxing. It was just this icky feeling, and lo and behold, 2 days later, or even the next day, I get sick. So this sickness was just a major head cold. I didn't take my temperature, but I don't think I had a fever. Major head colds, lots of stuffiness. I already was super nauseous from the pregnancy where I wasn't eating, and then you add not being able to breathe to the whole package, and I lost 6 pounds. So from the start of my pregnancy to about after I got better, I lost 6 pounds, and I have not gained all of that back yet. I have gained some back, but I am not at my pre-pregnancy weight just yet. And that definitely freaked me out at that time because I wasn't eating. I really was trying. I was really, really trying with the food aversions, the nausea, the being sick. It was just like this master recipe for disaster, and I got really hard on myself and really disappointed. But I did read that when you're pregnant, especially in the first trimester, whatever baby needs, baby will get. Even if you're not up to par with your nutrition, baby will still take what it needs from your body, from your storage. And in a way, it's kind of funny that it took us so long to get pregnant because I was eating very well for that time. So I was very confident that I had those stores in my body for the development of my baby. All right, fast forward to maybe 11-ish weeks. I had my first official appointment. So I am trying to limit the amount of ultrasounds that we do. My midwife limits the amount of ultrasounds as well. But that first official appointment, I did want to make sure that everything was still okay. We didn't really see much that first ultrasound anyway, so I really wanted a chance to actually be able to see the baby. And because of me losing weight and being sick, I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. So we did do an ultrasound that day, and we did a few tests. But before I get into that, I mean, the information speaks for itself. I was so nervous when I first got to the office, and you know, they take your blood pressure, they take your heart rate, and my blood pressure was through the roof. I don't necessarily know how to read blood pressure, but the first time they took it, I think it was 140 something over like 90 maybe. I don't remember, but they wanted to take it a second time and only went down a few points. My heart rate, which was me sitting down with this blood pressure monitor on, my heart rate was 110, sitting down. To say I was nervous is just a complete understatement. And I just think that came from not knowing what to expect. I never had an appointment like that. So we did the ultrasound, and we got to see everything. The baby's head, belly, little legs that look like little chicken legs. We got to hear the heartbeat again. Still, it was super strong, super high. You see it?
It's moving. Look behind me.
Look at the screen.
Baby's moving around. Oh, look at that baby jumping all around in there.
No! Look at that little profile. It's got a little nose. Oh my god, that's so cute. It's a baby. See the little profile there, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Did the routine blood work, and we actually decided to do the NIP test, the NIPT test, which is the genetic testing, and you can find out the gender that way. So my husband wanted to find out the gender like that day on that ultrasound at like 11 weeks. Obviously that wasn't possible, so we were just really excited to find out the gender. I think that for us, for anyone who waits to find out, I mean, more power to you. I genuinely don't know how. I just couldn't. I'm a planner. I need to know, the sooner the better. So we did the NIPT test. We got our results just a few days later, and I really, really wanted to do a gender reveal. I wanted to do nothing big, not like a party, but just something for my husband and I, and we got the results Christmas weekend. So because it was Christmas weekend, I'm like, the results are in the palm of my hands. By the time we order something, by the time it comes, by the time we do all this, like, I need to know. I might have waited for all of that if my husband was more willing to, but he wanted to know on the spot. So right when I had the results, I rushed to him to open it and find out what we were having. And this was our reaction. Yes, tell me. So yes, we do know the gender. No, we will not be sharing it for the time being. Everybody's asking what we're having, and I'm not ready yet. I realized that once I started to tell people that we were pregnant, that was so overwhelming on its own. I couldn't add what we were having on top of it. I don't know. So if you have asked what we're having and I lied to you that we don't know, I'm so sorry. But if I lied to you, it's just because you probably would have gotten it out of me, and my husband and I made a deal, and I have to honor that. All right, let's get into the symptoms a little more. Nothing was really consistent to the weeks itself. Every day was a new day. So I did not expect to have such major food aversions. It was interesting where I was more turned off by the smell than the actual taste of certain things, but it was just really difficult for me to be in the kitchen pretty much the entire first trimester. I mean, they were major, everything smelled. Everything just smelled horribly. Even my skincare, I had to change my skincare at one point. Still the same brand, but they use plant extracts and certain smells of extracts. I just had to switch out the products because I couldn't deal with it. But from week 6 to about 10, I was just a complete hermit. I avoided people, not on purpose. I just knew that I didn't have it in me. My battery only worked in really small increments. I'd have like a burst of energy for 20 minutes, try to get as much done to be as productive as possible, and then it kind of shut off real quick. I'm kind of an indecisive person generally. I like to think that I have made progress over the years, but when it came to food, I mean, I don't even know if you can call it indecisiveness. I would spend, I don't know if I'm exaggerating, maybe an hour in the grocery store trying to figure out what I wanted to eat. Major indecisiveness. I would walk back and forth all over the store. Nothing, I mean, grocery stores have so many smells. Nothing smelled good, nothing smelled appetizing. I could be starving, absolutely starving, with no desire to actually eat anything. And I even started to give myself permission. I'm like, okay, maybe not the healthiest thing, but do you want anything? Like, just eat something, get some calories, because this is not sustainable. Fruit turned into kind of my go-to. It was very hydrating. That sweetness, I think, really helped a lot. And then from weeks 11 to about 13, my nausea somehow increased. I think it was around 11 and a half weeks exact where my nausea became more wanting to throw up. Now, this whole entire time, nausea was extreme, but I can't say that I would be vomiting after every meal, thankfully. But I did throw up a few times, and at the most random times, random unexpected times. I could be just sitting on the couch with my husband watching something, and all of a sudden I have this urge to run to the bathroom and just... It was never a lot either. It was either what I just ate, or honestly sometimes it was almost as if I was throwing up air, and that made me feel better. It was very strange. Everything just felt like it was in my throat, regardless of throwing up or not. It was just this overwhelming feeling of pushing everything out through that way. Nutrition and fitness. So the first couple of weeks, I mentioned that I was not able to eat much of anything. It's not like I had a lot of cravings for, you know, unhealthy foods or junk food or fast food. I didn't have I didn't really have any cravings really, but I was really hard on myself because I felt like I was failing. I felt like I was failing my body and my baby because I wasn't eating the way that I should be, or at least trying to incorporate something beneficial. And I was really hard on myself. I had a moment of, what am I doing? Why can't I do this? And that was a huge wake-up call for me. I really truly was doing the best that I could, and that is all you can do. Did not expect to feel the way that I did that whole entire first trimester. So if you're feeling down, I feel you. I was super healthy and active and everything before pregnancy, and I was expecting and hoping to continue that throughout, but it just, I don't know. I thought because I had such a good prep for pregnancy that I wouldn't have to deal with nausea and fatigue and tiredness and everything. So if you've seen the previous video where I talk about all the supplements that I was taking for my fertility, I talk in depth about why I wanted more of non-synthetic and more bioavailable vitamins. You know, supplements are meant to supplement, and in the case of my first trimester, I was not eating. You should be getting most of your nutrition from your food, and because I was not eating, I had to supplement. I knew that I was not getting enough of what I was supposed to, and I really didn't want to take a prenatal, but I knew that I needed it because I just couldn't eat it. Even my smoothies that I loved drinking before, I only drink them sparingly now because they just don't sit right. They just don't, I don't enjoy them. Can't finish them sometimes, and it just, things change. Things change. My viewpoint on certain things changed. I have expanded my palate. You know, I was doing animal-based for a long time. I couldn't do just animal-based for the first trimester. I'm happy that I'm able to now still continue eating what I feel my body needs without feeling guilty about it. You know, anytime you have any kind of diet that has a label and you go outside of that label, it can cause unnecessary stress, and I'm happy to be straying away from that. So I really didn't work out much in the first trimester, and I'm barely getting back into it now. I do feel better about it this time around, these last couple weeks, but my first trimester, I would work out, cramp, and it didn't feel good. It wasn't worth it. You know, you feel good while you're working out and maybe after, but then I would be super paranoid if I felt cramps or if I felt something that was off. I'm like, I don't need that. It defeats the purpose for me. Like, just go on walks, stretch, do some yoga. No need to put that pressure on yourself, because my priority right now is growing my baby. All right, let's move on to what I call the 3 B's: boobs, belly, and baby. So these bad boys, I did not expect them to get so big so fast. You know, I know that your nipples are supposed to like triple in size and your boobs triple in size. I didn't realize it happened so early. I thought it was kind of more a second trimester thing. I didn't know that the bulk of their growth is essentially in the first trimester. First trimester, they hurt so bad. They hurt so bad in the middle of the night. It was hard to lay on them. Anytime I moved to roll over, adjust position, and there would be weight on them, like if I would even get up and the weight would just kind of fall into them. That hurt a lot. I don't know if this is common. I don't think it is, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I lost arousal in my nipples. I still feel them. Like, they're not numb, but they don't feel like anything. My kind of explanation for that is, you know, it's probably gonna serve me well when I breastfeed later on. So, okay, so please tell me if you experienced this, because I've read on some forums about this, but my midwife said it's not common. She didn't say it wasn't normal, but it wasn't necessarily a common thing. Or, you know, I don't know, maybe her patients don't really talk about their boobs as much as I do. I don't remember what week it was. I want to say week 11-ish. My breasts kind of under started to develop like these red patches. They're pretty symmetrical, so it's not one side has more than the other. They do not hurt. They do not itch. I don't feel them. I mean, my breasts are very commonly warm, but that seems kind of normal just because I feel like my body temperature is up in general. But the redness thing it's not something that I could really find much information on, because just not a lot of women either are talking about it or have gone through it. Some of the forums that I read online, some of these women's OBs sent them on ultrasounds and biopsies and scared them with a bunch of stuff I don't even want to mention. But have you experienced that? I'm guessing it's just skin stretching too. That would make a lot of sense, but it doesn't feel like it's like stretch mark stuff, so I don't know. Okay, my belly was really itchy in those first couple of weeks. which I guess is to be expected. There's a lot of movement, lots of stretching there. I have random hairs growing between my belly button, like under my belly button. I used to have like a happy trail many years ago before I got it lasered off. This is not growing in as a happy trail. It's just random hairs on my belly. Also, if you're in your first trimester, let's say you're at 12 weeks, do not Google 12-week baby bump. I was not on social media at the time, so I was just trying to find what a baby bump at 12 weeks looks like, and what you find online is not what I looked like. It's still not what I look like. You know, you find these perfectly curated belly bumps at 12 weeks, and I'm like, why don't I look like that? I feel like I'm still barely showing. And I'm about, what is it, 16 weeks this week? Belly is very firm to touch. Some days I'm showing kind of towards the middle or the end of the day, which I kind of attribute to bloat. I have kind of sort of started showing in the morning, so I'm excited about that because I feel like that's where it's an actual bump and not just bloat or water or anything else. But it's definitely, I could still get away with hiding it. I wouldn't say it's super noticeable, but I'm excited to see it grow. Okay, and then baby. So people keep telling me that it's not possible or it's too early to feel anything at that point. I could have sworn at 11, 12 weeks, I felt not a kick, but like butterfly movements, like in my uterus, you know, like something fluttering, something moving around. You can compare it probably to gas bubbles, but I would like to think that I know the difference. I felt something, and I still kind of feel things very randomly. There was also a moment where I was laying on my left side and my husband put his hand on my belly and I felt like crazy movement of some kind. He didn't feel anything. He was also convinced that he had like a pulse in his palm and that it was his pulse that I was feeling. I'm like, that is not a rhythmic feeling that I'm feeling. That is not your pulse. It's not my pulse. Something's moving in there. I have not felt that since, so I don't really know what that was, but it was cool in the moment. All right, so some other random symptoms that I was feeling throughout. Some nights I had extreme cramping. It was strangely around kind of the milestone of a new week that started, well, actually no, it was pretty much from the beginning. It wasn't every week, but there would be certain nights where I am cramping so bad I can't get up. Like I would have to get up to go to the bathroom and I can't get up. It was excruciating pain, and guessing those are just growth spurts. I'm hoping that that's what that was. But I'm still fatigued. Like I still have random moments of the day where I just want to take a nap, where I could wake up in the morning super energized, ready to just be super productive, and then I can't, then I just can't. My battery just dies and dies quick, and you never know when it's gonna hit. Definitely have mood swings. The littlest things drive me nuts and make my blood boil. The littlest things. Thankfully, they're not consistent. It's only once in a while. I haven't recognized when. Okay, so when it really felt real, right? You know, there's the positive pregnancy, there's the ultrasounds, the heartbeat, and all of these things add to, yeah, it's real, it's cool, it's awesome. But this is when it just smacked me. Like it just fell on top of my head, and it was beautiful. Around 12 weeks is when I wanted to start looking into baby stuff, you know, baby registry stuff. Like I like to be prepared, I like to plan things, I don't want to make any impulsive decisions. Like I really want to wrap my head around a lot of this whole experience. So I ordered one of those free baby boxes that they send to you with samples of different things. And when I got this box, it had a bunch of stuff of baby things. You know, there was bottles in there was diapers, there was pacifiers, just different sample stuff. And when it really hit me was when I opened this. Another, what is this? Oh my God, is this a onesie? No way. I think this is a onesie. My husband and I have not bought anything yet, like nothing. We've gone to the store to buy a onesie. I don't know, I think because I was in my first trimester, I was scared to. Oh, it's so cute, it's baby. Oh my goodness, look how sweet. Okay, I'm just gonna go bawl like a baby. My heart just sank into my uterus. Ah! Okay, we have looked at baby things before. It's just, you know, we've looked at the clothes and we've looked at things and we just never bought anything. And for some reason, opening that onesie just sent me over, like I was just, and I couldn't figure out why, and my husband had a good point. It's because we actually had something in the home for our baby that we did not have before. So we finally had this little onesie, and it was just so exciting. It made it that much more real, like this little tiny onesie that a little tiny human is going to be wearing soon. It was just incredible. So speaking of baby registry, what is one item that you thought you would use every day and you regret buying it because you thought you couldn't live without it and it turns out you very much can? Or what's one baby item that you just cannot live without, like that just saved you and you couldn't imagine raising a child without it? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.